How many times, girlfriend, have you heard that you should lift weights? But what does that really look like? And is it safe for women like me, menopausal or postmenopausal? Today's episode of the Midlife Reset Podcast is all about strength. By the end, you'll have a solid understanding of where it fits into your fitness plan and three guidelines to keep you injury free. I'm Cheryl Gordon, your host of episode number 53. I've had to reorganize a lot of my activities to prioritize strength at the age of 62, and I'm helping hundreds of other women figure out how to age strong through my She Mindfulness program. So let me share with you what works and what is really just all hype. So let's go. Flashback to the 80s. I mean, we're old enough to remember the hair, the high cut leotards, and do you remember? Five more, three more, remember? 20-minute workout, aerobics was queen. God forbid we would bulk up like guys. We wanted to be toned. And cardio burned those calories, or so we thought. I remember working at the YMCA. It was 1984. In my fitness trainer course, the leader actually put up a slide that said, eating fat makes you fat. And I bought into it. Didn't you? I mean, in hindsight, which is of course 2020, it shows all the flaws in that logic, but the old ideas are still very pervasive. I have a friend, I bet you do too, that is super fit. She runs all with all the big dogs. If exercise is healthy, then she's going to be like extra healthy by exercising like hours every day. In the old days, I wanted to be her. I wanted to be like super fit. It just turned out to be like really painful. And if you watch a lot of those longtime athletes now that we're in our 60s and even 70s, notice all the limping when they get up from a chair or the number of pain pills they need to just get going in the day. In our wiser years, I think we want to age strong, maintain our independence, have agency to choose an overseas hiking trip or play on the floor with our grandkids. So, isn't it time to let go of those false narratives around exercise? Here we are in midlife, and you may be sticking to your aerobic fitness habits, but the belly is getting awfully soft. Darn. It's so hard to buy nice pants now, right? And so here's what no one told us back in the 80s, or even now, a lot of people aren't telling us this. Cardiovascular fitness is very important for longevity and quality of life, but it is not a great weight loss strategy in as of itself. When we were young, girlfriend, we had a lot of estrogen, and it was doing a lot more than regulating our cycles. It was quietly acting like a metabolic bodyguard. Estrogen helped direct where fat was stored in our body. In our reproductive years, it encouraged fat storage more in the hips or the thighs or the butt. Sometimes that's called more the pear shape. And that pattern wasn't by accident. It's not random. It was biologically protective. Subcutaneous fat in those areas is metabolically safer and less inflammatory than abdominal fat, which is what I have now. But estrogen didn't just influence our fat location, it also helped improve insulin sensitivity. It supported healthy glucose uptake into the muscle. It reduced the belly fat accumulation. It helped to maintain that muscle mass. It helped to regulate our appetite and satiety signals into the brain. Really, I have what they call leptin insensitivity now, which means it's hard to tell when I've had enough to eat. This is, by the way, why I push mindful eating so vigorously in my programs. And I do actually have a free guide. It will get you started on mindful eating. It's the protocol that I use now. So check the show notes for that link. Anyway, in simple terms, estrogen made it easier for our bodies to use carbohydrates efficiently instead of storing them as, well, fat. It also enhanced how muscle cells responded to insulin. And muscle is a major glucose sink. I covered this a couple podcasts ago. I'll put the link to that episode in the show notes, but all about insulin resistance. The more efficiently muscle absorbs glucose, the less likely it is to be stored as fat. And that's one reason many women could eat kind of whatever we wanted, maybe in our 20s or 30s, without the same metabolic consequences as we experience now. But there's also a mitochondrial piece in this. Estrogen supports mitochondrial function. Those are those little energy factories in your cells. You learned about it in Biology 101. Better mitochondrial function means better fat oxidation. So, what it means in my world is you were literally better at burning fat when you were young. Burning fuel was easier. I was telling all this to a different friend recently, and she said, estrogen does all that. And way more than we can talk that maybe we can talk about another day. But yeah, estrogen did all that for us. And that's exactly why, my dear friends, we need to talk about strength training because muscle can take over some of the metabolic work estrogen used to help with. And cardio or aerobics do not make muscle. In fact, the opposite can be true. I covered all this again in a previous episode of the podcast, and I'll link that in the show notes. I really recommend having a listen to these old podcasts because I know these outdated ideas about cardio and about, cutting carbs and stuff really still live in my brain, and maybe they do yours too. For years, I puttered around those circuits that show up in gyms. You sit on the machines and pump out a few rounds. You're done in less than 30 minutes. I also spent quite a bit of time in those fusion type classes that are in the gyms that include there'd be some jumping about and then you'd throw around a few free weights. I mean, the thing was in those classes we were all doing the same moves at the same pace for the same time. I did get really sweaty, but did it really build strength? And here's what I've learned. And I've had some great friends on the podcast, like my friend Lynn from Be Fit After 40. Again, I'll link to that episode in the show notes. I also did a great workshop with PJ Wren from Fitness with PJ, both women who are really skilled in communicating fitness protocols to women like us. So I'll link their information in the show notes and you can hear from them directly. But this is what I've learned from interacting with these really smart women. First, strength training in midlife is not about becoming a bodybuilder. It's about replacing some of the metabolic support that estrogen used to provide and keeping your body resilient, strong, and independent. It does not need to be extreme to be very, very effective. I've shaved 5% of my body fat off after the age of 60, postmenopausal. I've kept my weight lower than it was when I was in high school. The best part of these things, though, is that I feel confident slinging my kayak around by myself. And this process is not rocket science. It is truly mainly a mindset shift. I mean, we were so shaped by those early experiences, dance fit, going for a run. I used to belong to a cycling club where longer, further, right? We had to get our heart rate up. Remember testing our heart rate? We just didn't get the exposure to strength training. At least most of us girls didn't. And fitness programs and gyms and influencers on the socials push these one size fits all programming, and it just gets more and more confusing. So let's break it down. Number one, lift something heavy, heavy for you. And you do that 2 or 3 times a week. Twice a week is good. 3 times is fantastic. Now, here's the nuts and bolts of it. You want to focus on full body activities that hit all your major movement patterns. So there are 5 movement patterns that functionally human beings need to be able to do to maintain independence and agency. You need to be able to squat down. You need to be able to hinge at the hips and pick something up. You need to push things. You need to pull things, and you need to be able to carry things. Now, you can use dumbbells at home to do these kinds of things. There are workouts with resistance bands, or you can go to the gym and they'll have special machines at the gym. And the key here is that you just need to do something that feels hard, but not forever, just for a little time. And you definitely don't want to cause your body pain. You just want to feel real tired when you're doing it. So let's go back over those 5 kinds of movements. Squatting, which is in yoga, it's like chair pose. Hinging at the hips, which in the gym, it's called a Romanian deadlift, but it's basically bending over and picking up something heavy. Pushing, like a chest press. Pulling, which could be done with cables or it can be done on a rowing machine. And then carrying. Carrying is when you put a weight in either hand, like a kettlebell or something like that, and you walk around and try to keep your spine upright. So 5 basic kinds of movements. Now, here's how I figure out what is heavy. What do I do in these movements? Like I said, you can use the gym machine, dumbbells, or resistance bands. But what you want to do is you want to pick a weight that you know you can probably do. Maybe if you're, for example, if you're using dumbbells or free weights, you start with 5 pounds. Most people can handle 5 pounds. If you're doing any kind of housework or lugging of groceries and stuff for yourself, chances are you can handle 5 pounds. No problem, right? Do 10 reps of the exercise. So if you're doing the squats, take 2 5-pound weights, put them on your shoulders, and bend down as though you're sitting on a chair, and then stand back up. Do 10 reps of that. Was it hard? Are you tired? Or did you finish and say, whatever? Or did you get to number 8 and you're shaking and you're really getting tired? So you may have to play around with some weights. 5 pounds on either shoulder, doing some squats probably isn't going to tire you out, girlfriend. I'm just guessing. You may have to go higher, 10, 15, 20, something like that. You want to get to the point where you find a weight that leaves you kind of shaky at number 8. So it's hard. It's not easy. And then go down maybe a pound or two. So if you're using 5-pound weights, go to 3-pound weights. If you're using 10-pound weights, go to 8-pound weights. See what I mean? So if you're shaky at number 8, you can afford to go down a little bit so you can get to 10 and be confident you're not going to hurt yourself. If you're doing lower body stuff like squats, you can go down by 10-pound or sorry, 5-pound increments. But so you find the weight that gives you, I'm exhausted at number 8. I can't do any more reps. You go down a little bit, and that's your weight to start with. This is the weight you're going to stick with for 6 weeks, which I know sounds boring, but you really want to make sure you're getting your function, your form, make sure you're educating the muscles how to work properly so that you'll be at less risk for injury. So you don't want to like stress your body out too much. We don't need that extra stress, girlfriend. That's counterproductive. But you want to give your body a bit of a challenge. So for 6 weeks, that's your weight for that exercise. You're going to aim to do 2 sets of each of the 5 exercises in your workout at a weight that you can get to 10 repetitions in 1 set without being like shaky and exhausted. You feel pretty confident, although you can feel that you've been working. So you're going to try to do 2 sets of 10 for each of these types of exercises. And you can change it up. You can do it like a circuit. So you do squat, hinge, push, pull, carry, squat, hinge, push, pull, carry, or you can do all your squats and then all your hinges, all your pushes and all your pulls and all your carries. All that's your choice. And you can mix that up if you want to. So after 6 weeks, you can talk about upping the weights a little bit. The other thing you can do is add a 3rd set to each exercise, which will take you a little longer in your exercise session, but will give you that little extra fatigue for your muscles and build them a little bit more. You want to increase the weights very slowly. Keep in mind, even though you're anxious to get going and you feel strong, muscles adapt much faster than tendons and connective tissue. So to prevent injury, and this is really important for us menopausal women, take a very cautious approach. I like to keep a log of all the different weights that I'm using, how many reps and all that kind of stuff. You can have a little book you carry with you when you do your workout. I have an app on my phone that I use. So that's how to get started, exactly what to do. Now, the second thing I want to share with you is a really important message that you want to keep your sessions short. If you follow the method that I just outlined for you, you're going to find you finish in 20 to 30 minutes. Most of the fitness classes we've attended over the years are an hour long, and we've got that in our head. We have to exercise at least an hour, or, you have to get out there and walk for at least an hour. But I'm telling you that consistency beats duration. So follow the simple formula that we've already laid out. Those five basic movements, 2 to 3 sets of 10 each. You can go 8, you can go 12 reps, but 10's a nice number. You'll be done in about a half an hour or less, and you only really need 2 to 3 times a week doing that to see results. Short, focused sessions protect your muscle, improve your metabolism, and support your overall health without taking over your life, without adding to all the stress that you're already handling. Can you imagine what you're going to do with the literally hours of time that you can reclaim from all the treadmill and thinking you have to go on all these, odysseys to get into shape? Could you like read a juicy novel or book dinner with friends or maybe start the She Mindfulness program? You'd have time for thinking about your life and what you really want, right? Instead of beating yourself up because you got to get in shape. Here's the third thing I'd like to really offer today too, is to focus on your progress. It's not going to be a large variety of stuff that you're doing. It's not going to be like really entertaining. It can feel repetitive to do strength training, but repetition is how muscles adapt. For myself, I like to listen to podcasts in order to keep myself motivated and interested in getting to the gym because I can't wait to hear my favorite podcast. Another friend of mine actually listens to yoga chanting while she's doing her weights, and she makes it like a real meditation thing, which is cool. In the past, I've just got some really raunchy heavy metal from the 1990s that made me feel like beast mode. That kind of helped with motivation. So find your groove and make it the session fun. And instead of constantly switching up your workouts, generate challenge by adjusting the weights every 6 weeks, or changing the number of reps, or changing the order of the exercises. Then there's also pacing. The movements done really slowly build muscle one way, and then adding like more explosive aspects builds muscle in different ways. So on your chair pose, for example, you can go down really slow and then poof, come up really fast. That will change it up in terms of the way your muscles respond. Now, if you are going to the gym, maybe you can make some friends. I mean, that motivates me. But if you're working out at home, find a buddy that you can text after your workout and just do a virtual high five. We find that accountability partners in the She Mindfulness program really keeps the motivation high. So if you have somebody or a family group or anything like that that you can kind of keep accountable with, it's going to help. And tracking your progress is also really motivating. Seeing yourself getting stronger is deeply satisfying, especially in midlife when so many other things feel out of our control. I'm pretty proud of myself for what I'm lifting now. I kind of feel badass. And I know so many of us are worried about getting hurt. This is valid. We do have more susceptibility to injury at my age. But many midlife women have old injuries and joint sensitivities and bone concerns. If we properly load our strength training, it's going to improve bone density. It's going to give us better stability in our joints. It's going to help our balance overall and even our pelvic floor function, which is a huge concern for me. Start with guidance if you need. Even a few sessions with a personal trainer or physiotherapist can help you build confidence that you're doing things right. Over the years, I'd have several injuries from yoga. Apart from pushing too hard when my body was exhausted, teaching too many classes, and then punishing myself with long bicycle rides, for example, trying to keep up with the big dogs because I needed to lose weight, like all this crazy stuff I did to myself. But I have to say, since I've taken this seriously, gotten the expert guidance from my friends like Lynn and PJ, The old injuries aren't bothering me as much anymore, and I have not injured myself in 2 years. And that's what, since I've been really taking this all very seriously. So if you follow the slow, methodical approach, it's really going to help with so many things. You know, a few months ago, a friend messaged me. I joined this really amazing gym because I know I have to lift weights, but oh my God, I have no idea what to do. And she wanted to know, can I help? And I said, you know what? Let's go have fun. So we have just haven't had much exposure to that whole, bro gym thing. And it feels masculine and overwhelming. Um, but it was fun to help my friend. And now she kind of has a little bit more comfort now that we've done some machines together. I go to my local university here to work out. I'm an alma mater, so I get a discount. And these young girls today, they rock. I can't believe what some of them are pushing and lifting. So it's really opened my eyes. And I just have to say, it's totally normal for us to feel intimidated getting to the gym. So that's where maybe you want to try a personal trainer to start, but I know that that's expensive. I found that a lot of facilities, including the university where I go, have like just general gym staff at the desk or whatever. And I ask them to show me how to set a machine up or how to use something. I've kind of made it a bit of a goal this winter that I'm asking to learn something new once a week. So every once a week, I try a different machine or I try um, with wrist straps today. So you put these wrist straps around your wrist and then tie it around the barbell, and then you can lift heavier weights so your fingers don't get so tired. All these things that I'm learning. It's pretty fun. Anyway, most people at the gym are focused on themselves anyway, and I found that most people are pretty enthusiastic about sharing what they do know. The young students at the university could be my grandchildren, but they're really all very sweet. So walking in that first time, I mean, there can be all that crazy music and sometimes there's some smells. And then there's those bro dudes who are like swearing as they drop the barbell and you're like, ah, yeah, I know it's a lot, but you're on a mission, girlfriend. Get strong. And one benefit of getting to midlife, we don't have a lot of time to waste. We are so over oppressing somebody else or making them happy. It's our turn, right? And if you think you don't have time, heavens, girlfriend, have you been listening? This is about priority, not hours. Strength training is one of the highest return on investment health habits you can do. It reduces your visceral fat. It improves your insulin sensitivity. It supports your mood, cognition, bone health. It protects our independence. In your 30s, exercise might have been about burning calories. But in your 50s and 60s, 70s, and beyond, strength training is about sending signals to your body. Signals like, keep this muscle, girlfriend, stay metabolically active, protect my bones, stabilize my joints. And that signal changes everything. Consistent, safe, progressive strength work is your midlife superpower. Now, remember, I'll put links in the show notes to all the podcasts about myths around cardio and how to strength train safely and all that stuff. If you're interested in just getting everything going in an exciting direction overall, you want to tackle weight loss, you want a better sleep, you want to feel kick-ass strong, then we should definitely talk. The She Mindfulness program contains wisdom about all aspects of midlife growth, and you'll have a supportive community of women just like us to work alongside. A new cohort is actually starting soon, so it's a great time to join this spring. And of course, I can put that link in the show notes too, or you can always check out my website, which is CherylGordonYT.com. So thanks for tuning in. Please share this with as many women as you can. We need to get the word out there, my friends, about strength training and about being kick-ass strong. See you next week. Hey, girlfriend, I'm so glad that you're listening to this podcast. But I wonder if you wanted to take the work a bit deeper. Would you like to feel lighter, sleep better, and wake up energized again? Join my 60-minute free masterclass to learn the 5 steps that help me lose 25 pounds, reset my body, and finally feel calm, strong, and confident again. You can register on my website, and I really hope to see you soon.